Yeah, we're working all the time. Oh, I seem to remember that. They're at the corner of Second and yeah, I remember that grassy knoll. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Well, it's good to know history.
Hey, you know, we could say husband and wife can sit together. That's why you're there. No, you don't have to. But I think it's better. You're better judgment. You might want to do that.
Right.
That's hey, they're like brothers.
Okay. Yeah, I know where that is.
Yeah, 6:15. 6:15.
Folks, it hasn't started yet, so just sit by. And then once we begin, you'll be able to hear as well.
And there's more. Well, that's a lie. Come on. What about me? Oh, thank you, Marjorie. I didn't know either until like yesterday after, or I don't know. I knew for like a day.
Okay, folks, according to the host, it will begin at 6:15, so stand by.
Yeah, at the latest. And then you have to write it up. You have to sound credible. And I work on this. Thank you. Okay. Well, yeah.
I was going to wait till 6:15.
Give them data.
Wait a couple more minutes.
All right.
Some people in Upland are known to get here late.
Oh. Exactly. It's going to the. It's going to.
She's over there.
What I'm doing is I went back into the archives and they have the last archive on the planning commission like June 10th is the hearing for the telecommunications, the cell tower. So I thought, oh God, I need to watch that this weekend to see what they were thinking. No, just when the planning commission has had a hearing on it. It's been there 2 or 3 times. Okay, and Shannon came out and said, it's been there 2 or 3 times.
Good evening, everyone. Can everybody hear me? Can everybody hear me now? Okay. Okay, I was going to wait till 6:15, but I don't see anybody in the parking lot. My name is Ralph Cavallo, and I'm the project manager for the Tiny Tots building. What I want to do is start out with the history of the Tiny Tots. The Tiny Tots building was built in 1948 as a community center for the city of Upland. And it actually was designed that way. Years later, it turned into a Tiny Tots building, which probably has been running for, depending on who you speak to, about 50 years. And the Now, maybe 2 years ago, I got involved with that building because of another project that was going on in Memorial Park, and that was to sell the ball field. And when I got involved, and I was the one who actually expanded the south field, and also was the one who built the building out there. So when I got on the committee, they said, okay, we want to sell the ballpark, but then you'll get to put another ballpark in the Memorial Park. And where it was going to go was from this parking lot that way north, which meant that we were taking out the Tiny Tots building. But at the time I was in the meeting, I didn't realize that until somebody said, well, you know, you're the one that has to tear down the Tiny Tots building. And I said, what are you talking about? They said, well, it's in left field. I said, oh. So I went over to that building one day, and I met Sandra Farley, who's also a Kiwanian with me. And I said, I'm here to look at the building. And she said, oh, good. I heard you were going to renovate this building. Can you give me a wall here and a wall here? And I lied by omission because I didn't say a word about turning it down. But obviously, what happened after that was the ballpark was not sold. And so I went in there and I was going to put in one wall, pick down a wall, fix some things. And it's going to be started out with like $10,000 it's going to cost. Then I found out this building is 72 years old, has the original roof, has the original piping, has the original windows, has the original stucco, has the original fascia boards. It's all very old. And the figures started to run about $250,000. And then I spoke to the Historical Society, the Heritage Association. Heritage, anybody?
Upland Heritage.
Upland Heritage. And
Carol Kim and Dave.
That thing has no historical value, and that's why we don't want to get any money to do any projects. So thank you. So from that, it turned out we decided we were going to try to design something else, and I was the one that came up with the idea of the castle, and I spent probably a year on designing the inner workings of how everything was going to lay out. And then my architect, who's the man in blue over there, he liked the idea of the castle, but he totally destroyed the inside. So my year's work went down the drain. But I've worked with Eric for about 5 years, and that's what happens on most projects. Even though I'm kind of an overbearing person, when I deal with him, he wins 90% of the time. I wish I could do that with my wife. But anyway, so the bottom line is we started on the idea on the castle, and that's how we wound up with the current plan, which is this right here. Now, I will tell you, there's been one change since the city council meeting. Originally, the building was going to sit on the north side of the building in the corner, okay, in the parking lot. And that way we would not have to change any of the parking, and we wouldn't have to immediately tear down the building. And while we were building this program could continue on. That was the plan. Subsequent to that, speaking with Eric and Sandra and some others, we decided, well, you know what, let me go back to this real quick. This is the building as it sits right now. Remember, it was a community center. You see this big room here? That was the meeting room for everybody. And then in between here was the kitchen, and over here we believe was the office. But that was what was originally done. So we have 2 classrooms right now that Sandra will go into, one here and one here. Anyway, but let me just finish up on this. Since this time, we have changed it now, and now the building will sit in the same direction as that building is right now. The new building is about 5 foot wider. The old building is 91 feet 1 inch. The new building is about 96 feet wide. It's just that it's deeper. Where's Sandra? Would you? I want Sandra to kind of describe the program that exists right now, and she's been there for about 12 years. Tell us a little about yourself.
Hi everybody, my name is Sandra Farley, and my gift or my talent that I discovered many moons ago was that I work well with children, and I have this passion that goes beyond myself to teach and educate and create things with children. And so I enjoy working with them, and this is about maybe 20 years of working with children. And for Tiny Tots, this will be my 12th year. So I am very excited about this project. And I look forward to this incredible vision to just come alive in a reality for the children here in this community. There's an amount of potential in the children. And I believe that each and every one of them they deserve that equality of having the opportunity to learn, to develop, to create, to construct, to innovate, to become part of a unit so that they can create together and grow and explore and discover. And there's so many wonderful adjectives to describe a child. And so I'm here on behalf of Tiny Tots. I'm wanting to encourage you to be a part of this moment in time, which is so uncertain, to create something so wonderful and magical for the kids, such as this wonderful castle. And so many of you have been my parents in these classes, and many of you have not had the opportunity to see what we do in that small little building. Now, I'm not the only instructor. There's a couple other instructors here. And what we do there is we try to go ahead and receive your children with a lot of love, a lot of passion, compassion. And so when they come through those doors, we want them to start discovering and exploring and creating and eventually learn all the academic skills that they need so that they can go on into kindergarten, their first milestone in an elementary school, and their primary learning. And when they do that, we start with a child that comes in and maybe likes to fight and cry and run away from us. But, we've been nurturing enough to receive them and become compelled to teach them and have them grow together, socializing, interacting, again, creating, and learning those basic skills and fundamentals for preschool. And some of those skills that we teach are your basic ABCs. And I know for us as adults, we think, wow, ABCs, everybody learns their ABCs. Not really. Not really. Working with the 3-year-olds, such as my little Brayden here, working with other of my students that were 3-year-olds and 4-year-olds. I have now a student here that's 10, 12 years old, which is awesome. What they had to do is work in a program that consistently, with compassion, shows them and teaches them on a 3-hour basis, Monday, Wednesday, or Friday, or Tuesday, Thursday, or Friday. In those 3 hours, we do an immense amount of work with the children. And so what we do is they start creating their ABCs. It's not writing them down only, it's learning them, recognizing them. Tell me about the ABCs. Tell me something that starts with an A. By the time we start in September, a school year all the way, and that ends in May, just with the ABCs, your child will learn to read and write by the time they graduate from Tiny Tots. I have 4 3/4 of age, almost 5, and some of them 5, that leave that building reading. And it's amazing, at the end of their school year, what they do is they sit there and they read to their peers. Can I read, Mrs. Sandra? So they sit on the carpet in their little crisscross applesauce position, and one of them sits at the chair like the teacher, and they start reading to the peers. And they start telling the story and asking the questions. It's amazing. I cannot express to you how much those children are. Just with the ABCs. Talk math. We know our pluses. We know our minuses. We know how to count with our fingers. We know how to count with things. We know how to tell objects by their shape because we relate them to things out in the world. It doesn't stay in the classroom. So part of our team here at Tiny Tots is to do that for the children here in this community. And we do it with pride and we do it with compassion to enrich their lives and to nurture them. So that's a little bit about what we do in there. But it's not all about the academics either. We're talking creativity. They start a project, maybe a mural together. They start painting it at the end. They finish it up and put it on the wall. And it's constructed, not by one person, but maybe 10, 20 of them. Awesome. Not only that, let's talk creativity. Everybody loves Frozen, right? This year, the children went ahead and created, who is Olaf, right? 2 little balls, they all created an Olaf. They created a small Olaf, they created a big Olaf, just for class. So things that, the children can get their hands on to discover and explore and create and grow. They have fun. So introducing a castle to the children is magical. Someone once asked, well, how does it fit in this park? How would it go in the Felix Memorial Park? I am thankful that As adults, we know a little bit of history. It might be a little long of a stretch, but go along with it as a child, okay? This is magical. This looks like a castle. I'm going to school in a castle. I'm going to school in a castle. What does a castle mean for people? A sense of security. What does it mean for them? I get to play in a castle. But for adults, it's a sense of security. Behind what? Behind these walls. This is the outside appearance, but inside, remember what we do as teachers. So what else happens behind those walls? A sense of security, a sense of confidence, a sense of creativity, a sense of I'm a king, I'm a queen, I can be a princess. That's magical to a child. And it allows them to grow and be stimulated to be pushing forward to their education. How awesome is that? Okay, not only that, going back a little bit in history. We have history. Okay, this is Memorial Park. What is Memorial Park? Veterans, right? Veterans say, what did these veterans do for us? They secured our lives. They fought for us. They're soldiers. People that we need to respect. And I actually look at it like a tribute to them, to this park, right? Because when you go from being a soldier, go back in history. What is a soldier? Maybe a knight, shining armor with a sword, right? What does he do? Fight? Fight for what? Fight for the people, the community. What people? What community? Behind these walls. You remember history. People lived behind these walls. Behind those walls was another castle that was tall and beautiful. Maybe royalty lived there. But it's a sense of security. It relates. We have a cannon right up front. Those cannons were used many, many years ago. It relates. And it would be so powerful to have it sitting there. If everyone can look at that side and see it, they're facing there. How awesome. It would uplift this park. And perhaps more people, more families would come just because they want to look at it. Wouldn't that be incredible? Now we're talking the price. We don't want to raise the price. With your help, we don't have to. This building will go ahead and give us the 4 classrooms that we need. And if we could have more imagination and more money because we live in America, it could be greater. But you know, we are funding right now some funds that we can use to give to the community. And it's not for us alone as parents, it's for the children. They don't have a building. Look at Claremont. This is my biggest awe. Look at Claremont. Look at Montclair. Look at Rancho Cucamonga. If you ever get an opportunity to walk into their facility that they have for children, and if you get a chance today, walk into our facility and see what we have provided in the past 45 years. 45 years. If we are capable and able to do something as a unit for this community, please be a part of this movement. Be a part of this changing mark right now. We can create something wonderful for those children. Now you're thinking future, right? It's not going to go anywhere. That building has been there, like Ralph said, for about 70 years. Children will always keep coming. Children will always keep attending. We have waiting lists. And we can't give any more room because we don't have it. When you take a look at the facility, you'll see we don't have the ability to provide that.
I spoke to you, Sandra, when we had the workshop for Prop 68, and I seem to remember you've got 2 classrooms, 18 students. Are they all from Upland, or is there a restriction that Upland students are admitted first and on the waiting list also?
No, there's no specification or identification. All the children are treated equal, and they all come in through our Recreation Parks and Recs office, and they just get the ability to, parents have the ability to just sign on and say welcome. So it's for all children right now.
Follow-up question, what percentage of the children that you have right now, I think it's 18 per classroom, what percentage of the children are actually from Upland, or do you even know that?
I'm going to guess 90% of them. 90% of the children are. It's amazing when they discover our programs that they're willing to travel 20 plus miles to get here. I have had students that travel maybe from West Covina to get here.
If they're from Upland, why are they traveling so many miles?
It's called us, the teaching, the ability to create with them inside, and the growth that they have experienced in the word of mouth by other parents. but they have heard of how great the program is. They bring their children.
So it's the other 10% that are not from Upland that drive a long distance.
Perhaps 10. I can't give you an accurate figure, but yes, there's a few that were willing to drive for a program.
I can tell you probably 4 or 5 of my kids are from Upland, the rest of them are from Farmhouse. I have kids from West Covina, I have kids from Pomona, I have kids from Rancho Cucamonga, mostly Rancho Cucamonga. So I have kids from all over, not just from Upland. Little from Upland or from the other cities, because our program, like she said, it's about us, it's not about anything else. And so they've gone to Rancho and said, we like you as teachers better, and they're willing to drive a little bit more or come over here versus staying in their own city.
So that's my understanding. So
What form of organization is Tiny Tots? Is it a corporation?
No, it's just the Parks and Recs class, and if there's further questions regarding the city or the foundation of the program, I would really like for you to ask them to Ralph, because
Well,
I'm not
this isn't
familiar
about
with
the
it.
foundation. I want to know who is in charge of that, and if there is a corporation, if there's a
Okay,
board
let me respond.
of
Okay?
directors or who runs
If
it.
you signed up for a dance class,
Yeah.
or you have a grandchild that signed up for a martial arts class or program,
thank you, Senator.
this is a program. So it is run through Park and Recreation, just like those other programs. So it is not a foundation. It's not a corporation. It's run by the city, owned by the city. The building is owned by the city. And in fact, if this project is completed, once we get a certificate of occupancy, as you know, because I know you're doing it, is once you attach it to the ground, you get a certificate of occupancy. Even though you spend all your money and you're a private citizen, the city owns the building. As long as it's affixed to the ground, the city owns it. So when this
Does the
castle,
city pay the salaries of its staff?
excuse me, what happens is, like the teachers at a dance class, those aren't employees of the city. No, teachers at a martial arts class, they're not employees of the city. The teachers of this school, they're not employees of the city. They're independent contractors.
Yeah, but we don't let Mueller dance studio build a building in here for her personal profit, do we?
What profit are you talking about?
I'm talking about the profit from running a business. This is a business, isn't it?
Well, no, it's a well, then you have to use the same logic for a dance class or
No, because we're not allowing the dance studio to be built on public property that we own, and the dance studio will make the profit.
Okay, no, you're not understanding. Okay, under Park and Recreation, there is I'm not familiar with all of it, they have a number of programs. Let's say they have 15 different programs. They might have square dancing for senior citizens. They're programs run by the city, not by some dance studio. And those are held on city property, and people pay a fee to attend them. The teachers that teach those classes are independent contractors, and they get paid by the city, but the money comes from the tuition for those classes. Any profit, if you want to refer to profit, goes to the city.
So that's how this is run?
Absolutely.
It's just like having a dance in the senior center.
Yeah, absolutely. Same exact thing. And it will always be that way because it's a city program. It's not an independent program. I know what you,
Well, there's some organization that pays their salaries. Who's
yes,
that?
it's called the City of Upland.
Yes,
Oh,
I get paid by the city of Upland as an independent contractor,
There's an independent contractor.
and I only get a very minute percentage, which I am grateful for. And we teach out of our passion more than the money that comes in.
Let me say one thing. Eleanor, you can leave now, dear. Thank you very much. I don't want to call you up anymore. You can leave now. Thank you.
Thank
I'm
you.
sorry, I don't want to keep it there. Any more questions on that?
So that-
I know, you know what? I'm glad you brought it up. Because there is clearly confusion. And one of the reasons why there's confusion is because it's so far from City Hall. People don't relate that that's a city program. They think it's an independent business, and it really isn't. And it's never done. Okay?
So the city also decides who gets to
The ci-
enroll in this program?
She has nothing to do with the enrollment. The people, if they want to sign the child up, they don't go to Sandra. They go to Stacy Guzman or somebody at the city. Stacy Guzman works for the city, and they sign up there. And they're the ones that maintain the list, and they're the ones that, if there's a waiting list, they're the ones that do that, not the teachers.
There's no preference for Upland?
Well,
You would think there would be, because our
you know what?
tax.
And how about for low income?
Yeah, okay, here's the thing. No, there are no grant programs currently, okay? There's no preference to anybody, one way or the other. There's no preference right now from what I understand. Now, let me fast forward. Let me get into what I'm proposing here, which is going to solve a lot of your questions, okay? Now, and Sandra, I wish you would have gotten...
Can I just say something real quickly so I can help you? This meeting tonight is about design review.
Okay.
We want to stick to the design review. All the stuff that goes on in the background, that's already been done. That's all part of the City Parks and Recreation Department. So to rehash that and have to explain it to you, that's not Ralph's here. Ralph's role is really to present what his design is, what he'd like to see. He's taken this task on himself. Okay, so we want to keep it what the issue is. It is not the history of. He tells a little bit of history, but it's really about this design, this building. Okay.
Got it, Bill. Thanks.
Thank you.
Okay.
I was going to say, I wish Sandra, you would have gotten a little bit more passionate, because I'm a little disappointed.
There's more passion than this. Thank you, Sandra. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, now, this is the design of the building. And I'm going to do something which you don't normally do, and that is, I'm going to turn the diagram upside down. For those of you who are used to reading off of your boss's desk, you will have no problem with this. That was a joke, people. If you're not going to laugh at that one, I'm not going to give you any other ones. All right. This is the design of the new building. The old building was 3,400 plus square feet. This building is 6,366 square feet. The old building had 2 classrooms. This will have 4 classrooms. The old building has no heating in it. This building will have heating in it. The old building has 3 air conditioning wall units that work so-so, and that's why classes are only in the morning time. This one will have air conditioning that can work 24/7. And the way the building is designed is there are 4 classrooms. 2 of them are 850 square feet. 2 of them are 950 square feet. Each classroom has children's bathrooms. And there's adult bathrooms in front. Let me just say this. I've learned a lot over the last few years because I actually was involved with the YMCA, your early childhood development one. And what you find out is when a child goes to the bathroom, he's 3 to 5 years old, you're supposed to be able to see him. Teacher's supposed to be able to see him. So these will be made where, I call them bar doors, that even though they're here, so that the kids have privacy, you can look over them and see the child, and the teacher can keep functioning. So the bathrooms are, like I said, are each of these classrooms. The other feature we have is that this middle wall here will, classrooms 2 and 3 is actually electronic with electrical. We can move it apart and make it one room of 1,900 square feet. Now, why does that matter? Well, it doesn't matter during the daytime when they were teaching the kids, whether it be a morning class or whether it be an afternoon class. But this is going to be a multi-purpose facility, similar to what that was at the beginning, which was a community center. This is going to be like a community center. Why do I say that? Because after 5:30 or 6 o'clock, we can have nighttime classes in there, or you could have meetings in there. And depending on the size of the group, you can either have it in an 850 square foot place, 950, 950, or 850, or you can move that wall and have 1,900 square feet. So this will allow us to have nighttime classes. Why is that important to me? It's something that the young lady over here was talking about. If we do that, right now, each child pays $17 a day. And they pay $204, I think, for 12 lessons. Under my program, rather than $17, they pay $10. And the $10 really goes to pay for the teacher. Then you'd say, well, wait a minute now. That's not fair, because then the city would be subsidizing this because they're paying for the electricity, the landscaping, and the maintenance. No, because at these nighttime programs, we're going to charge a little bit more. And with that little bit more, in addition to what they should be charging for it, they're going to pay for all of the electricity maintenance and landscaping of the building. That's going to allow 2 reasons. One is we have more classroom sizes. We have 8 classrooms in essence a week, as opposed to 4 or 2. And so more children could attend because of the cost. In addition to that, something that was talked about is grants. There's a person on my committee who's, in fact, she's right there. She's a grant holder. And so, and there are, while it's difficult to get grants for capital projects, there's a lot of grants out there for programs. And so we're going to work on having grants for programs so that we can get it. Because here's my feeling. After speaking with the teachers in the schools here, and speaking to the person who used to be the head of the Upland school district, children.
Design question. We're talking about the design.
Yeah, and the reason for the design is to have, okay, the reason why, yeah, we are talking about the design, but I'm trying to give you the rationalization in back of the design. Okay, if you don't want to hear it, that's fine. I mean, I'm just trying to explain to you. You know, you'd say, well, you got 2 classrooms now. Why not just build one with 2 classrooms? Reasonable question, right? We can do that.
Well, I think you've explained that well, and I have a question.
Sure.
I've taken many recreation classes up at Magnolia.
Yeah.
And
Not recently.
not very recent, because they were doing some reno or something. So, is Magnolia going to be offering recreation classes?
I'm not here
Are
to
you
design.
a
I'm here to do the design work on this building.
Good
Magnolia's
answer.
a different
He passed the
job.
test.
Okay. All right. So anyway, that's the rationalization is we want to keep the prices down, and so that more children. And I'm going to finish this because I think it's really important for the community to hear this. Studies have shown that if you get 2 children, one's a bilingual, and one's just a single English-speaking child, and they enter preschool, they enter kindergarten, and one has had 2 years of preschool, and the other one hasn't. That child who hasn't had preschool is at a definite disadvantage. They go into preschool, and all of a sudden, all their fellow students, they know their alphabet, they know their numbers, they know their shapes, and they don't know. And they get a poor self-image in this stuff. I want to make sure that these people, if we build this building, that live in other parts of town that don't have the money, that those children have an opportunity to come to this school. That's part of the rationalization. Okay? I don't want to get emotional. Anyway, this is the front of the castle. This is the doors. Basically, this thing is going to sit. Like that's 91 feet. Like I said earlier, this is 96 feet. It's going to almost sit up to the, only it's going to be to the right of about 15 foot, only because Eric wanted to have kind of the trees more balanced out there. And then really what it is it's deeper. And because it's deeper, it goes to the YMCA, which you don't see anyway. But that's going to be the play area, which a lot of it will be artificial turf, yes.
Will any trees be cut down or trimmed back?
Well, I'll take it back. The answer is no, except for there's one, I think, ash tree, which is about a 7-inch ash tree. Hey, when we were going to do the ballpark, we were cutting down 8 oaks. So this is just one little tree. That was the original ball. It's one little tree we're talking about taking down.
It's a 7-inch diameter?
It's 7, 8, I didn't measure it. I'd say it's a small tree. It's not a big tree. That's the bottom line.
Okay.
It's a tree. And if somebody wants to pay to have the move tree, I'm more than willing. Anybody, by the way, because I know there's a lot of interest, anybody that wants to donate to the project, please see me afterwards. I accept all money from everybody and anybody. Okay, that's this. What questions do you have now?
I have a question.
Yes.
You're talking about the 4 classrooms and 2 of them can be moved to a bigger space, correct? That's what you're saying? So if the classroom that can be moved is my classroom, what do I do with all my belongings?
Okay, no. Here's when we talk about moving the wall temporarily, it's only for like a nighttime class. Okay. All we're doing is just the wall just moves.
So it's just like
everything stays the same.
Accordion type of thing that you're moving?
Oh yeah, it's electrical wall. Basically, it's on.
So that's a wall that can't occupy any kind of.
No, that would not be able to occupy. But those classrooms are 950 square feet too. They're good size classrooms, and you have plenty of room to do that. But we want to do that because we want to make it versatile for the community, so that people can use it. Right now, we don't have a lot of.
No, I understand that, and that's the way it should be. But you have to also understand, like we are there, our belongings are there. That stuff has to stay there all school year long. And for us to be shuffling and moving and toys and our belongings, that's a big ask on our end too. And then the security of our belongings inside.
Well, we're going to have places where you can lock up your belongings.
Is that going to be something that's incorporated in?
Well, we have storage areas. We're putting a lock on.
Okay, so there's going to be designated.
There's going to be your storage area on the plan right now. So we,
I'd like to add to that. I asked the same question because, you know, we care about what we have for the kids on the walls. And it's really awesome because it is a divider that will just enclose it, you know, and open up when it needs to. But we're going to have plenty of space on the other walls. And again, as he said, and I totally was for it because, and favored it because it opens it up more to the community. It opens it up more to the children. So the things that we own will be secured in different areas, will be secured on, and how beautiful it is for those parents to bring their children into a dance class and see the creativity of all the children on the walls. It'll be, you know, self-decorated by what the kids create. So it's actually a really neat idea, and that's what made me feel like I could favor it.
Hey, Ralph, so some folks on the stream are asking specific question on, nobody's questioning the fact that there's going to be classrooms put in. That's all great. Everything is for the kids, and what you guys are doing is awesome. The question is coming up, how does the castle design tie into Memorial Park, or is there another option that can tie it in better together?
okay, let me respond to that. The question, well, let me answer this one. Then I'll get to it. When you look at Memorial Park right now, my question to anybody is, other than the cannon, the flagpole, and the rose garden, show me one building in here, whether it be the pet shelter, whether it be the YMCA Early Childhood Development, whether it be the rescue YMCA building, whether it be the Little League building that we built in 15, whether it be the ball field that was built in 40-something, or this building, that building. None of them relate to Memorial. Okay, and I know you can tie it in somewhat castle, but I don't want to get into the war thing. That's why I never wanted to go that way. So there is no full, but there's no place in this whole park where it's that theme. Well, what I was thinking about, how we originally came up was, I thought if I was a child, what would entice me to want to go to school? And that's how this thing came up. I thought, you know, it's pretty cute. And then she used the word several times, magical. And I was actually speaking to somebody from the city, and this gal who works in the city said, you know, I really thought it was magical. And she, can you imagine kids coming to the park and they're over here and they see that castle? They're going to want to see the castle. They're going to want to actually maybe even go to that school. It's going to encourage kids to go there. I need to ask her. That's hard to go.
What is the fascia on it going to be that's going to make it look like a castle?
It's going to be stone.
It's going to be stone.
Oh yeah, it'll be like stone.
Like
really.
stone.
And also the top, if you'll notice, the top here, you see how it comes down? It won't be that true. It'll come down. It'll be a little bit more irregular here on top. But this is all stone.
Okay, I'm just asking.
No, I understand. Maybe, yeah, yes, ma'am.
Okay, so still on this whole castle facade, I just have an issue with, let's just say 20 years from now, the Tiny Tots program is dissolved. Now we have this building that looks like a castle. What do we turn it into?
Well, at the same time, it's still
Okay.
in the center.
I mean, the castle theme, and I'm going to go back to something she said about kids dreaming to be a prince or a princess. I don't want kids to dream to be a prince or a princess. I want them to dream to be an astronaut, a policeman, a fireman, a teacher.
Okay.
But
An
not
engineer.
a prince or a princess.
Okay, let me ask you this.
That is like ridiculous.
Okay.
She can create inside the classroom room for them to dream and grow. The facade of a building is not going to do that. This is not Disneyland.
Can I ask you a question?
Real world.
Do me a favor,
This is
okay?
Upland.
Do me a favor, okay? Let us speak so
And
I
this
can hear
is
it.
our park.
Okay.
And I think that castle design is going to be an eyesore.
Okay, may I ask
And
you a
we're
question?
going to regret it.
What would you prefer to have rather than a castle?
A building,
What kind of a building would you have?
just a building that maybe mirrors the animal shelter or mirrors something else.
Okay.
And if you want the memorial, then maybe we dedicate the building to those citizens of Upland who have given their lives in defense of our country.
You know
But
what?
a castle is not going to make me think about my uncle who died in World War II.
No.
Sorry.
No, I understand. You know, you don't realize. I'm the person that built the Veterans Memorial at the City Hall. I'm the guy that did that. So I care about veterans. But here's what
No,
I say
I'm
to you.
not- I didn't
Here's
say
what I
that.
say to you, though.
But I'm just
You know what?
saying the castle
I
doesn't
understand.
devote
I
a
understand what you're
memorial
saying.
to anyone for me.
I understand that. But you know what's great about America? That's the reason for this meeting is everybody can voice their opinion.
Exactly. And
Okay,
that's
and
why
I
I'm
agree.
here. I was
I heard
watching
this.
online, but I had to come down.
I understand. Okay.
I'll tell you, Ralph, I really like the design of a farmhouse right now for the Tiny Tots. That to me, this is a beautiful picture right here. The colors, the facade. It's a farmhouse. Now, you mentioned all these other features. We're not talking about them. I wasn't here. We weren't. A lot of us weren't here. But I would like to see something, a design that really fits into the park. And the castle doesn't do it. And I don't want to be a queen or a king or a princess. I want to be, I am an engineer. You know, I never wanted to be a princess.
Okay, there again, we're here to voice opinions. I understand that. It's your opinion. I understand that. We all have opinions.
Right.
Yes.
Hi, I'm Yuri Hurtado. I'm a librarian in town, and I am in the business of having kids stimulate their imagination and imagine what they can be and pursue those different interests. And I can say that I really dig the castle design. I think it does exactly what Ralph and the instructors are talking about, getting people engaged. And I would like to see Upland have something that is unique and remarkable, like the Big Orange and Riverside that everybody loves. Over time, it becomes, I'm not going to say a symbol of the town, but something that people and those of us who live here and those who grow up here will remember.
And I respect that. California law is such that in a public park, which the city holds in trust for the taxpayer residents of Upland, you're holding this in trust. It must be a community center primarily, and then a child care center. So we're not designing it as a child care center. We should be focusing on it as a community center that also has a child care program. It's the law.
What California law is that?
Oh, I'll email it to you, Bob.
Yeah, email it to me.
It is the Parks and Recreation Act of 1971.
Send it to Bob. It makes sense.
I sure
Okay.
will.
Okay. Any other questions on that before we get to any more? And on the castle itself, I think we've responded maybe on it. Like I said, it'll change the location. The location be where it is now. To build a castle is going to cost about $807,000. The building would probably be worth about 1.3 or 1.4 million if we get it done. And I think it will be a betterment for the community. Clearly, that building has been there 72 years. I've been in this town 49 years, and I have never heard in those 49 years of having a meeting to fix that building. It's only when we raise this now that people are coming out, and that's fine. Yes, Rose.
Yeah, I guess I'm reflecting on the Prop 68 grant discussions that we had at the Land Assembly building. And, you know, I think the instructor over there talked about how small the building is and how much demand there is for that particular type of service for the community. And this particular opportunity is providing twice the space for that activity. Which I don't know what the general classroom size is, but I think maybe you're even got more kids in there right now than you really should for that facility. So I don't know if you can speak to that, or maybe it was already mentioned. I'm sorry, I was a little late to the meeting.
I'm going to go ahead and answer that question. Yes, our classrooms are there. Originally, that was a community building.
You have to speak up, Sandra. Speak
There
up.
was originally the building was a community building. There's a small classroom. I can't tell you the square footage. I think it might be 400 square feet. And then there's a larger classroom in there. In my classroom, I hold 18 little ones. And we're talking, there's barely any room, and there's still a waiting list. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. By adding 2 more classrooms in there, maybe providing employment for a few more teachers, it's going to provide the opportunity for us to go through those waiting lists and be able to use the rooms in the classrooms to allow them to be able to move. I mean, I wish that you would, times were different, and you would be able to drop in and see how I teach in this small space. I am thankful that I'm able to do it, but it's also very sad when I have to turn a child away or triplets away because I don't have the room in the classroom.
And after this is over, we're going to give you people the opportunity, as long as you maintain the 6-foot space, I'd see that, to go through the classroom to those who've never been in. Yes.
I have to correct myself, Ralph. It's actually, Bob, it's the Parks and Preservation Act of 1971. Also, during the COVID, I'm assuming you're open?
No.
Wow. That's too bad because childcare is so important for us to get this economy going again.
It's where we are right now in the season.
Okay.
And protocol means a lot to us. It's what we need to abide by.
And that is, just so you know, that's a city decision. That's not a teacher
Oh, I
decision.
know. I'm just asking.
Yes, go ahead.
So actually related to COVID, because you guys aren't opening, and we know that a lot of school systems, a lot of educational programs are going sometimes hybrid models. Some of them are going to be online. Have you guys thought about how that's going to affect also? I'm not talking about the design, but actually creating the new building, creating the new infrastructure for the classrooms. How is it all going to be tied in if we're still kind of, the law's changing every single time?
It's going to take a year to build a building.
Okay.
A lot of those problems, and it's a good question, but a lot of those questions, those problems are going to be self-solving. Let me say this: if our schools are closed and our businesses are closed from a year from now, we'll be a wasteland.
Oh, I agree. Totally agree.
So anyway.
But I
Chop
have
up
to say,
Yes, sir.
Ralph, nobody here knows the countless hundreds of hours you put in to this design and this function of this building. And the bottom line is, a facade is only a facade. What happens inside or behind that facade is the important things that happen. Now, that being said, when you design a facade that would become a destination location, how much more press, how much more exposure would this beautiful park get? How many times have we ever had people attract to getting married in the Mendocino building? But how many couples would find it a great, fun time to say we got married in a castle? Attracting that kind of crowd, or we're having our family reunion at a castle rather than just in a building. So, again, the important thing is the function that happens behind that facade. But if that facade will bring crowds to the park, more power to our park.
Thank you.
I can add a little bit to it.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. 1 second, man. Go ahead.
So going back to your question, sir, about how would we continue the education? How would we continue to create with the kids? We were shut down in March, right? And I carried my Tiny Tots class through Zoom because we are dedicated and the kids are dedicated and they're excited. And they're 3 years old. I have a little 3-year-old over there that was on Zoom and did the classes with me. And I created and innovated as we went along because it was like a crash that just came and we had to do something. We even held our graduation at the end of the year. So I don't think anything can stop Tiny Tots if we have the passion and the will to keep going forward. Now, I'm also going to add a little bit of what the gentleman over there said. Okay? I am not sure if anybody is very familiar with this, but there are proms, there are senior pictures, there are weddings, there are all sorts, and it's a true valid point. If you go down to the Claremont colleges, if you go down to the beautiful buildings, that's one building, one tree, one arch, there's people taking their pictures there.
But you can't compare that castle to the Claremont colleges. I'm sorry.
No, I'm talking about one specific building, one arch that can do that for people.
1 second. Fairness. Go ahead, ma'am. You had a question.
Oh, I wanted to go along with what he was saying. I was just really agreeing with what he said about the interior is really important for the children. And I hope that everybody would be at least on the same page that renovation is definitely needed.
Yes.
Okay. Rudy.
How much is the donation that's being made to do the project?
So far, we've got commitments from all parties of $540,000.
Now, as a donation to the program or to the building?
To the building.
To the building.
It's a capital donation. Other questions?
It's a building. the current building being torn down and the new one put in?
Yes, the
So-
building,
so
the
there-
building would have to be torn down and then new ones.
So there will be no,
Well, there's some issues there. I don't want to, there's some things in play that we're working on, but we're not there yet. Because we just recently changed it back to the original design. That was the original location. This has gone through 4 different, transitions from one to the other. Yes, ma'am.
I don't know if this is a dumb question, but
No
I
questions
know
are dumb.
because of the upgrade, the city's gonna benefit from, I'm sure you're gonna be using green. You're gonna follow the green code, and I'm sure it's not up to green code right now.
What does that mean by green?
The green code,
No,
the
no.
plumbing, the air conditioning.
Solar, all of that.
Well, we
Solar
don't have-
panels.
Hold it. We're not going to have solar.
I'm assuming.
No, right now, first of all, we're in the design phase, okay? Let me say that. They're going to be, air conditioners will be energy efficient, if that's your question.
Yes.
Yeah, they'll be either well, there's 2 different kinds, whether it be a separate heating system and air conditioning system, but there's certain things.
But you're actually saving the city money because you're upgrading, correct?
Oh, the city's getting the
So
building
that's
for
the
nothing.
benefit- that's
The
the
city is
benefit
paying
to the city.
$0,
Right.
0. So, I mean, yeah, they're going to
Right.
benefit. And more importantly, the people of Upland are going to benefit. That's the important thing. Did you say something? No, I thought you said you wanted to speak.
I'm finished, I'm good.
Oh, okay.
I'm just curious.
Yes.
So is it gonna be right up there on the west side of that building?
No.
Is that where you're locating it?
No, it's going to be about 15 to 20 feet to the east of that building. But it's about the same width.
Over there?
No. That building is 15 feet that way. Only because we want to move it away from those trees a little more and get it closer to some other trees. How many feet is it, Eric? You know?
What's that?
How many feet to the east are we moving the building?
It's behind the, Ralph,
About 50 over about 15 feet.
Okay.
Ralph, it's behind the existing building, right?
No, that's you missed the beginning of it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
We've changed it now. We're going to go on the footprint now, because for one thing is, it's more pleasurable looking at it from the south than it would looking at the side of the building. In addition to that, none of the parking area, the only parking area that will be affected, none of the parking to the south will be affected, but the parking to the north, which which isn't used that much anyway, the YMCA, that'll be the play area. That's what's going to be affected. Somewhere? Oh, yes.
This might have been asked already, but I'm far away, so I can't hear. If the building is in the same location, essentially, does that mean classes will not be in session?
Well, that's what we were going to be discussing now, okay? As to how we would do it. Where else could we move the classes for a year? That's what's under discussion now.
I have a question.
Sure.
If it might not be. If we're doing this castle and using this rock facade, say it's vandalized or someone, how are we going to cover that up? I mean, you can't just slap
Okay.
paint on it. How are
What-
you going to make it look nice?
There's a substance you can put on Stumpstone that if somebody graffitis it, you can clean the graffiti. We did it on the building right there. Down there at Southfield. The same. It's a great question. Great question. They've got all kinds of stuff. Any other questions? Yes.
Well, so you get all these kids in the park, and they wish that they could go to the castle thing. They can't go. It's not public.
What?
So it's here in the park. It's taking up space. I guess you don't think it's beautiful to have trees and grass
Why would you say that?
and passive uses of the park, because you think a castle would be better in our park than what is here now. But these kids that get inspired to go to the castle, they're not allowed to go. They
Why
gotta sign up and pay money to get inside there, and there's a long waiting list.
Hold it. Boy, we're covering a lot of area. Let me kind of try to unpack what you're saying now, okay? First of all, that's a public building at that point.
Oh.
Okay? That's going to be owned by the city of Upland. We're going to have 4 times as many classrooms as we have right now. And if they want to go to those classes, assuming they're not 12 years old, then I can't help them. If they're 3, 4, or 5 years old, they will be able to go there under at least, because it's going to be less expensive, or depending on their economic situation, they may be able to qualify. If we get some grants to go to that school.
Hey, Ralph?
So, yes, sir.
Ralph, let's remind everybody, this is about design. If you've got
This
questions.
is about a park, though.
Hold on. Please, let me finish. If you have an issue with all the other stuff, Ralph is here just to talk about a design of something that has not even been approved yet, about a design. If you have questions about programming through the Parks and Recreation, I encourage you to reach out to the proper people at the city and let them answer those questions, because that's not what Ralph's here to do. Ralph is here. Ralph is talking about the design. If you want to comment about the actual design itself, that's what this meeting is for. It's not to discuss how it's being paid for, who's paying for it. It's really to design. Okay? We want to keep it on the track, because we get off tangents and then the narrative changes. We don't want that.
I think what I was saying does go to the design. I think it's out of place and inappropriate.
That's fair. That's fair.
Okay.
Right. I agree. I understand.
No matter how much a kid would love to be there, they can't be there anyway, unless
More
their
kids can
parents.
be there than can now, if they have more space later on.
But they have to pay money to get in.
And I don't think children on the list.
The narrative has changed. You guys must go back.
Changing
Please.
time out, it's about
Let's ask a
Oh,
question.
yeah, hold it. You have somebody that actually raised their hand. Yes, ma'am.
I just want to say that I've had my kids, my nephews, our family has been in that building for years. And that building right now is just for the children, and you guys' focus is on a castle. Well, it's about what the children feel when they're inside. They're not turning into princesses. But it's their imagination when they're there, and what they learn when they're with the Sandra, who is amazing. That's what matters. It's a building. Children can take pictures in front of it. And one day say, I went to school at the castle. And if they're not in there yet, word of mouth. I still have children coming, and I want to put my kids in this program. That's not even a castle yet. But my children now, they heard of it, and they said, that's so awesome. So it's about teaching children, family, word of mouth, that can be in this program. It may not be about kids entering into it. It's a city program for children to learn it. It's a community building. That's just what it is. What it looks like, that's awesome for the kids to want to attend school at a young age, 3, 4, 5. And then they can go with elementary school. But they have that little spark of imagination to attend preschool. And that's it. It's a community building. You guys can do whatever after for whatever community event, but it's mainly for the kids to attend to it. And there's more space to do whatever extra things you guys want to book after. But it's mainly a building for the city to have, to provide for kids to look forward to go to. And I don't see it as it being a big deal. They're not taking any trees down. There's more space. What they've done in that small space is incredible. So for them to have more classroom space, that's why we're here, is to just, this building that we have, expand it, and they can just do so much more. With that small old building, they're just going to make it better. So, yeah, it's a castle, but it's the kids' castle. And then whatever people want to do after, they can book that if they want to, but it's not being used the way it should be used now. So the problem is not what it looks like in outdoor. Where's Tiny Tots going to be in 7 years? What it is now, or what are you guys going to do with it? The kids are going to look forward to going to school. And when they leave, they have that. And if kids are growing up now, they can look forward to going there. If they're too old to go there, they have a castle in their house. That's that.
Okay. As far as the money goes, any program a child joins, they can get some money. So let's take a stand for that. Let's go on to that pay. Oh my God. Everybody's paying for any program, okay? But you need less money. Okay? As far as design, you don't have to be built like a rocket to be an astronaut. It's just, it's imagination. And I'm sure they're not, teachers not saying you all have to be princesses and princes. I'm sure they're teaching other things. It's just using their imagination. Thank you.
I will say that you're correct, almost all correct in that every program you pay for, except one program. And what program is that? Upland National Little League is the only Little League in the United States for 65 years has never charged a fee.
Well, they used to play over there with the Little League National.
Where?
Yeah, for free, only $1.
Where was this?
Right over there, the one who they sold. That you were part of the
I,
sign.
I didn't sell any of it. Anyway, no,
Not yet, you're working on it.
You said it hasn't been sold.
no. Yeah, that's the same level. Only that's a higher level. We're getting way. Okay. Other questions? Yes, sir.
Sorry, I arrived late. I didn't get a chance to look at the rendering, but has energy efficiency or any kind of renewable energy been based or added to the design? Solar panels, renewable
We talked. Somebody mentioned solar panels. That has not been discussed as yet. Clearly, when you have a 6,300, 66 square foot building, if we wanted to put solar panels on the roof, guess what? It's a flat roof in essence, so that could be done. I mean, that hasn't been discussed. We talked about it. We know we're going to have air conditioning, we're going to have heating, we're going to have certain amenities, we're going to have lights, but there's other things. That'll get into the next phase or the third phase. Right now, it's really what does the community think about the design and getting input there, and then where we move forward from that. Any other ones? And if not, anybody? Oh, yes, ma'am.
I just have a comment, really. I love how you utilize the space, and it's a bummer that one tree has to be cut down, but it's going to benefit so many more children. So when you weigh it out, I say lose one tree, help more kids. And I just want to thank you because I know that you personally put a lot of time and effort into this. I know a lot of the funds for this are coming in as donations, and it's not taxpayer dollars, so that is amazing. And I hope that whatever the facade, the outside of the building, whatever it may be, which is not really the important part, it's for the community and for the kids, which is really the important fact. I hope it goes through, and I just want to thank you for taking the initiative of your own time, all of the work and effort that you put into coming up with all of this, because we can all come and sit here for an hour and tell you yes or no, we hate it, we love it, but you put a lot into it, and that is appreciated, I think, by everybody, even if they don't see the point of.
Thank you, Ralph. Thank you.
Does anybody want to go through the building? If so, anybody want to go through the building? If not, we'll close the building up.
That's just from the heart.
Okay, thank you all.
Thank you, Ralph, and thank you for all you do for Upland.